Should the husband be the sole provider? Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I have another interesting topic to discuss with you today. For the vast majority of married couples nowadays, the husband is viewed as their primary breadwinner. We have high expectations of him when it comes to providing for his family and home. In other families, however, this is not the case. As the leader of the household, the wife provides for her husband and children. A husband has traditionally been seen as the head of the household and was expected to be the sole provider or breadwinner, a role that is still held in some societies today, sometimes described as paternalistic. In today's society, a husband is not always regarded as the primary breadwinner of the family, especially if his wife has a more financially lucrative occupational career. Generally speaking, if a married couple has children, it is not rare for the husband to be referred to as a stay-at-home dad. In today's video, I'll be discussing whether or not the husband should be the sole provider in the household. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. A household's primary or primary income earner is referred to as the sole provider in colloquial speech. The majority of household expenses and the financial needs of dependents are often met by the breadwinner, who provides the bulk of the household's income. Even in these difficult and challenging times, being the breadwinner and the sole financial provider at that is not a viable option. Being a single income household is complicated by a number of issues, including an unpredictable work market, changes in family structure as more and more single-parent families are formed, and the practicalities of having one parent stay at home and care for children. While just a minority of married fathers are at home with their children, some do it on their own initiative. The majority of stay-at-home dads do so as a result of job loss or a lack of promising work opportunities. In general, it appears that the majority of married men desire to work full-time or want to do so if they are not already employed full-time. It is a difficult balancing act to combine average monthly salaries, make both ends meet, and still have enough money for savings. Imagine being the sole breadwinner and having to deal with a long list of financial obligations, such as paying all manner of utility bills, purchasing the family's daily necessities, meeting major payments such as the mortgage and children's school fees, not to mention shelling out large sums of money for unexpected expenses such as sickness, injury, or disability. Now, is it appropriate for the husband to be the primary breadwinner? So what exactly does it mean for a husband to be the sole breadwinner? In general, guys prefer to be the sole breadwinner in order to feel more macho. According to studies, this is particularly true for men who grew up in the 1950s. It is possible for men to suffer psychological consequences as a result of being the sole provider. Although conventional gender norms may support this arrangement, being the sole breadwinner in a household comes with a great deal of responsibility and pressure, which can result in a significant worry and anguish for the person in the position of being the breadwinner. Never in a relationship is it acceptable for one partner to dictate to the other what the other should do. There is no need for any form of dictatorship in order to have a functioning relationship. It is critical to be a decent partner regardless of whether you earn more money or not. In the case of men who make less money than their wives, it is their obligation to avoid being constantly butt-bruised by the notion that they are not genuine men since they do not make as much money as they do. A good partner understands what has to be done and goes about doing it without counting beans, that is, without keeping track of who did what and when it is their turn to do it. Not only is the breadwinner husband still relevant, but the husband-breadwinner norm is still alive and strong. Despite the fact that the proportion of working married mothers who earn more than their husbands has increased significantly, a large body of research indicates that the husband's occupation still has an impact on the durability of a marriage. Men who respond to this stress by adopting the modern identity of what I refer to as a bread sharer, according to this research, are more likely to fall back on the classic identity of the sole provider. However, while most research on dual-career couples focuses on how spouses balance their earnings or work hours, this study found that these groups of men differed from the most fundamentally when it came to how they perceived the sole status of their wives' work, namely its work and prestige within society. Men's perception of their financial importance of their wives' labor was impacted by this perspective in turn. Most individuals believe that the husband should be the provider because it's so strongly ingrained in the male mind. The job of sole provider is often assumed. Thank you for giving me your undivided attention up to this point. To wrap up this video, studies have revealed that some husbands are the primary sole providers because they are comfortable doing so. However, it is not necessary for the husband to be the sole breadwinner in the family. In some households, the wife is the major breadwinner and the sole provider. As a result, being the sole provider is a decision. It should not be restricted to only fathers and husbands. We've come to the end of today's video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and express your thoughts in the comments section. Also, subscribe and share.